Hello, everybody, and for all of those of you that are watching this replay video here, I just want to thank you. I'm honored that you're watching this. We are going to continue with our series here of designing your life. I've talked a little bit about health. I've talked a little bit about relationships, and we're going to get a little bit more into nitty-gritty of kind of goal setting and so on. And to do that, I wanted to kind of share a little bit what I do in terms of setting goals. So what we're going to focus on today is you are going to look back at your life. Hey, Brooke, how you doing? We're going to look back at your life when you are 100 years old. Let's say you're going to live to be 100 years old, and you're going to look back at your life, okay? And you're going to give yourself advice today, but we're going to get to that soon. What I want you to do is you're going to be 100 years old, and you're going to look back at your life, and you're going to say, what have you accomplished by the time you're 100? What have you accomplished by the time you are 75 years old? What have you accomplished by the time you're 50 years old? What have you accomplished, like over these next 10 years, over these next 5 years? Then it's so much easier to set goals over this next year because you already know. Here we go. Love that, Sans. Your grand lived to be 101. All right. So what did she actually say? Did she give you any advice of what she recommended for you and from her experience, right? So when you do that, it's just much, much easier. We very, very often overestimate what we can do 1 year, but very often underestimate what we can do over like the next 5 years, okay? And one of the things that I realized 12 years ago that was I was in the corporate world. I was working in the banking industry. I knew I didn't want to be working super hard in this corporate world for the rest of my life, missing out on fun things like the family, on travel and so on that I was maybe not going to be able to do in the same type of way that I've been able to do by getting into network marketing, right? And so I just think of myself as like 100 years old. What's one thing you look back on and you go, oh, I wish I would have worked way, way harder and spent less time with friends and family, right? That's probably not really what the suggestion is going to be. Instead, what I would have probably said if I was 100 years old looking back and said, find a way to work really, really smart. Find a way to leverage yourself. Find a way to save a little bit of money, every single year, starting as early as possible. And with compounding interest, you can actually save a lot of money and be completely free. Or find a way in which you can leverage yourself in terms of work, which you can do in the network marketing industry. So you can work really, really smart for 4 or 5 years and then enjoy, the rest of your life in a much, much better way. Okay, so I'm actually a huge workaholic. Like I always have lots of ideas. I want to keep on going with different things. I still love what I do in network marketing, and I have several other ideas that I do. So for me, it's not like, oh, I just want to lay on the beach all day long and never do anything like that, right? I want to accomplish a lot with my life. I just want to always do different things, right? But I also understand that things take time, and you can't just do everything all at once. You have to focus on certain things. And that's, for example, one of my huge suggestions in network marketing. Find one company and stick with that one company. I see so many people that are like suggesting products for like 2, 3, 4 different companies, and they keep questioning themselves why they haven't achieved anything. It's like, it's hard enough just with one, right? It's just like marriage. It's really, really, really tough sometimes just to have a really good relationship with one person you're married to, right? This is the same thing in business, okay? So it's a lot easier than to focus on it. Hey, Beth, how you doing? Great to have you on here. So now when you're looking at your 100-year goals, it's much, much easier to then set your 75-year goals and so on. And then your 1-year goals kind of, you get this bird's eye view, and it's not as overwhelming because you don't have to maybe accomplish so much in this next year when you do that. So I would start with that. And every year when you're working on goals, go back and look at your previous year's goals of what you said to do. And then by the time you're 100 years old, by the time you're 75 and so on, right? And that's what's helped me a lot over the last few years is having this long perspective and understanding that things don't really happen overnight. If you want to have success, it's going to take some time, right? You have the 10,000 hour rule. I don't know if you guys have heard about that rule, but 10,000 hours is really what it takes to become really an expert at anything. Like they take the best paid violinists, people and they get paid a lot of money, but they've been practicing for maybe 10,000 hours. Whereas the ones that have only been practicing for 5,000, 6,000 hours are probably just teachers earning almost like a minimum wage, right? And so there's a huge difference between people that have done something for maybe 5,000 and 10,000 hours. And it's the same with any business or whatever else. It's going to take time for you to really get an understanding of everything, to get to that success level, to have the reputation in the industry or whatever else you're doing, right? So within network marketing, there are people that come in and do really, really well very, very fast. But that's very often because they have built up something before. They've either built up a network or they've built up the skills. Like we have certain people that have come in the last couple of years that are maybe from the recruiting industry or the sales industry, and they've been working for many, many years on their interpersonal skills with other people and their ability to recruit other people. So don't always compare yourself to those people. Like for me, I was super, super slow. Hey, Mel, all the way over from North Carolina. Love it. So funny. Right before I left North Carolina, I met up with Mel in Charlotte, and that was a pretty crazy night. And so no idea where I was here, but all I've got to say is have a lot of fun with when you do your goal setting for long term. It's so much easier when you do it that way. Understand that you are going to be able to accomplish a lot more over the next 5 years than you probably think, but maybe sometimes less over the next year than sometimes what you want to do. Oh, we got another fellow banker in Eleanor. Hey, how you doing? Wonderful to speak to you yesterday. Susie, hey, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much all for watching this series. I will continue to do lots of fun things here. If you have any questions or any topics you want me to cover, just let me know. I do have most of the next sort of 15 programs planned out, but all of that is so interchangeable if you guys have any questions at all. Have an awesome evening and go out and smash this week and just make it the best ever. All right, everybody. Make sure you make 2017 way, way, way better than 2016.